Welcome to the channel. My name is Douglas, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how to make a warm synth pad sound on the Nord Stage 4. It's perfect for church or any other situation where you need this synth pad sound to fill in underneath a piano or some other instrument that you're playing. So we're going to have some fun here. We're going to leverage a couple of presets, and in the end, it's going to sound something like this. So it's got a little bit of movement to it, and we're gonna leverage a couple of presets out of the preset library. If you don't have these, either you've erased them, you've loaded things onto them, or you just don't have them on your Nord Stage 4, I'm gonna put up this program we're building as well as the two presets we're gonna use within this program build out on my website, DSoundman.com. You can go grab those for free, and that'll give you either the starting point if you don't have those presets, or if you don't want to spend the time to actually build this program and follow along this video, you can just go grab that program from my website, DSoundman.com. So let's jump into this. I'm going to go back to my A11 program. And then what we're going to do is hold shift and do layer and knit. What this is going to do is it's going to initialize all of our sound sections. I'm going to press on the one button underneath the screen to initialize all, and then we're going to press on the shift exit to move out of there. This brings us back to just a plain white grand piano sound, no effects, all the other sections are off. Let's start off by building this synth pad sound, then we'll come back and add a piano to it. So I'm going to turn the piano section off, I'm going to turn the synth section on. Right now it's just a pure saw, that's what you get after you do initialize. Gritty, not what we're looking for to build this warm synth pad sound. So what we're going to do is on our layer A, we're going to hold shift and tap on the synth preset button. This is going to load up our single layer synth presets. We're going to scroll through here until we come to the stereo pad. It's got this little bit of a vibrato effect to it. So we can turn that off. That's up here in the vibrato section by just cycling through till we have no lights. Now we can add movement in later with effects. So I'm just going to take that vibrato off. We may add it back in later as we play around with this, but for now, let's turn the vibrato off, and we're going to leave unison on. So let me just cycle through these and listen to how this affects that sound. It's basically stacking those together to give us a more full sound. We're going to leave it on 1 for this, and then we'll tweak it a little bit later. Now we have some oscillators, filters, and of course our amp envelope going on because this is an analog synth sound. And if we tap on the envelope button inside each of these sections, we can see the attack, decay, and release settings for the envelope on the oscillator, the filter, and the amp envelope. So we've got a really quick one on the envelope. So it comes in really quick. On the filter, it's a little bit slower. So listen, as I play the note, there's going to be some fade in. So that's our filter, and then the envelope is pretty quick as well. Now what we can do is we can change these attack, decay, and release settings, and essentially attack is how quick it comes in. Decay is as we're holding the note, how that fades off while we're holding it, and then release is when we let go. If we haven't decayed, when we release, what is that release time of that sound to fade out? So what we can do is play around with this, because for a warm synth pad sound for church, for the most part, that comes in too quick. And if I were to layer that with a piano now, it's too busy and it competes too much with the primary instrument, which in our case is a piano sound. So let's turn the piano off again, come back. Remember, the only thing we've done is selected the stereo pad synth preset, which is a single layer. We did the shift synth preset, and then we turned off the vibrato. So that got rid of that kind of, which is a little bit of kind of a vintagey sound. If you want that in there, you can definitely leave it in, but I'm gonna turn it off for this example. Now let's get this to come in a little bit slower. So on the oscillators, press on the envelope if you're not already there. So you get the envelope screen. We're gonna take our attack and we're gonna bring that somewhere around the 1.5 mark. Sometimes you can't get exact, so go with 1.49 seconds. Now, obviously that's coming in quick still, and that's because our amp envelope is also at 0.5 milliseconds. So let's do the same on that, bring that to match what we have on our oscillator envelope. Much better, right? Now, when we let this go, it goes off really quick. So, we could try increasing the release on the envelope for the amp, but that's not really affecting much. So if we come over to our oscillator envelope, you'll see this is at a 3 millisecond. So let's bring that to match, what do we have? 1.59. Let's back that to 1.49. And then let's come over to here and do a 1.49 on the oscillator envelope as well. Much better. Now I think we could increase that just a little bit more on both of these. I think that's much better. So if we layered that with a piano, it allows us to play some more intermediate notes, and it doesn't fade in so quick that every single note I'm playing on the piano is getting that synth pad sound. So what we want to do here is we want to come over to our filter, because this is still a little bit too in your face. And we could drop the volume down, but it still has that harsh quality of that. So the way we can tame that is to take our frequency knob within our filter and bring that down. That's giving us that grittiness on that synth sound. Let's bring that somewhere around the 100 mark. As I'm saying that, let's go to 78. Somewhere in there. Whatever sounds good as you're building this. Now, the other thing that we have is the oscillator control. So if we hold down on this mon/copy, actually we have to exit out of here. So we're going to press on the shift exit because we've already selected this from that single synth preset library. On our oscillator control, let's see where that's at right now. So hold down on the monitor button and scroll the oscillator control wheel. You'll see it's at 8.9. So we can change this. And we bring the frequency up a little more. Again, that's a bit of that harshness sound there. So let's bring our oscillator control somewhere to the 6 range and then bring our filter back to I'm going to go with 104 hertz. I think that's sounding pretty good. We're going to leave that for now, and we're going to come over to our layer B. So on layer B, let's do the same thing. Hold shift, go into the synth preset libraries of the single layer presets. And then we're going to scroll over and we're going to grab the super wheel pad. So let's just play this. I like that. We're going to do shift exit. And what we've got here now, I feel like my octave went up. Yeah, I must have bumped my octave up there. So again, the difference, nice, slow, kind of this resonant, warm sound. And then here, not a whole lot of adjustment we need to do here, but we are going to go to the envelope. And we're going to take that attack and bring that to about the same, 1.5. We'll go with 1.49. And we're going to take our release and probably match that. So now there's no oscillator enabled for the super wheel pad. It's a super saw, another analog synth sound here, but a single layer. So what we did is we selected the layer, we made the layer active that we wanted to bring this into. Then we did that single layer preset and it brings it into that layer that we have active. So it should leave what you have on layer A that we built from the stereo pad. Now, listen, these have two different qualities to them. So let's layer those together and listen to what that sounds like together. That's sounding pretty good, but we're gonna do one more little trick here with our layer A. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna tap on layer A, and what we're gonna do is copy this, we're gonna paste it onto layer C. So to copy a layer, hold down on the Mon/copy button, and then tap on the layer you wanna copy. It says copy synth A. Then we can let go. Then we're gonna come over to layer C, and we're gonna hold Shift, Mon copy, which is performing the paste function. So anytime you hold Shift, it's performing the function underneath the button or the knob. So hold Shift, hold down on that paste button, and then tap on synth layer C. Then we can let go, and now, same synth pad on A and C. What we're gonna do is a little trick here with the pan. So what we wanna do first is activate all three layers at the same time. Just makes it a little easier to see the pan adjustments. So all three are active. We pressed all three buttons at the same time. Now hold Shift, and underneath the C button, it says pan. So by holding Shift and tapping on the C button, we now have the pan settings for our three synth pad layers. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave B at center. So with the two LEDs lit is center. On A, we're gonna pan that all the way to our left side, and on C, we're gonna pan that to our right side. So if I let go of these, and I tap on solo, which allows me to listen to one layer at a time, A is in my left, B is center, and C is in my right. Now, what this allows me to do is start to widen this pad sound a little bit. So let's turn solo off, and I'm gonna take the volumes of my two A and C layers, which are my left and right layers. I'm gonna bring those down a little because now I'm adding a whole bunch of sound to this. I don't want it to be much louder than my other programs. I'm gonna leave B all the way up, and then on A and C, I'm gonna bring those to about 2/3 to 3/4. Now what we can do to make these sound just a little bit different from each other is to play with the unison. So I'm gonna play a note and sustain it. I think that's pretty good, that mix right there. Now what we can do is I'm gonna take all three, I'm gonna bring them up so I've got full volume, and we're going 3/4 on A and C. So we have this little mountaintop here. A and C we're gonna leave the same, but what that's done is it's pushed both of those to the left and right. Now, if you're going single out of the Nord Stage 4 into your snake to front of house, you're going mono, which means you're gonna lose that stereo effect. So you're really only gonna wanna do that stereo split like we did with A and C if you're running stereo, which my recommendation is to always run stereo out of the Nord Stage 4. It's gonna sound so much better. Run left and right out of 1 and 2 to your front of house and send them that stereo signal. It's going to sound better. In mono, it sounds a little bit thin, and if you're having issues with getting it to sound right, make sure you're going stereo left and right out of the out 1 and 2. Just a little tip for you on getting a better sound out of the Nord Stage 4. Now what we wanna do is we wanna tie the volume of these to our modulation wheel. I also have a volume style expression pedal plugged in to the control pedal input. I'm gonna do the assignment to both, so I can use my foot or I can reach up and use the modulation wheel. So I'm gonna clear the morphs because I had a remaining morph. So hold Shift, tap on clear morph if any of these buttons are lit. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the volumes of these all the way down. And remember, we had the B layer all the way 100%, and A and C were 3/4. So I'm gonna hold down on wheel now, and it says change param to morph. So we're morphing parameters to our modulation wheel. I'm going to take A, I'm going to bring that up 3/4, B all the way up, and C up about 3/4. Now what this is doing is it's setting these so when I move the modulation wheel, it's going to proportionally bring those up. So at max, my B layer's 100% and my A and C are about 75%. Now I'm just going to do a quick copy of my wheel morph, and I'm going to paste that onto my control pedal. So now I can use my control pedal. Same thing here. You can use a wheel or the control pedal to do that morph of the volume in. So I'm pretty happy with that synth pad sound. We're going to come over to our piano. We're going to turn that on. And then what we're going to do is let's just go into the uprights and let's grab the felt upright. And we're going to make that a bright timbre. What I like about this, let me bring the synth pad down. Get a little bit more of those mechanical qualities. Let's take and add a room reverb. So turn the reverb on and then cycle the types until you get to room. And let's make the amount an amount of 3. I like that felt upright. Do one more thing. We're going to add some dynamic compression to this. It'll help accentuate those softer tones. It's like adding a little bit of compressor. It brings the lower volume up and takes the louder notes and evens those out. So we get a bit more of an even volume range, no matter how we're playing this piano sound. So again, we've built this sound with the stereo pad preset on A and C. We've panned those to the left and right and then brought those down in volume. On layer B, we use the super wheel pad preset, and then we did a couple of adjustments to both those so they come in a little bit slower. I'll do this often where I'll be playing a sound, I'll turn the piano layer off and just hit some pads, then bring that back in. Again, having that pad tied to the volume style expression pedal or the modulation wheel allows us to dynamically bring that in and out as the sound kind of requires it. So hopefully that was helpful in running you through I know I scratched the surface on some of the synth stuff, and there'll be more videos to come as we get into summer and my travel slows down a little bit. I'm hoping to dive more into the synth section. I know a lot of you have asked for that over the last couple of years probably, and there's a lot to this to break down and teach you. If you are curious on how to use the essentials of what we have on the Nord Stage 4, make sure to check out my Essentials training course. It walks you through step by step all of the essential functionality here on the keyboard to get you started. So if you're just getting into the world of Nord, you're wondering, how do I use this beast? that training course is going to be perfect for you. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning, I'm going to take this, we're going to store it. We're going to come all the way over to, let's go to our H, and let's rename this. So we're going to call this one, we're going to call this Church Pad Felt. And then we're going to store that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Church Pad Felt program. I'm going to put that on my website along with the 2 presets, the stereo pad and the super wheel pad. I've heard from some of you that you don't have those on your Nord, and sometimes that's because we save over it or we do some sort of reset, or as Nord continues to change this keyboard, sometimes they change up the presets that are included with it. So you'll find in that package on my website, this Church Pad Felt. You'll also find the 2 presets that we use to build this. And hopefully you can use that either as a starting point with those presets, or if you don't want to go to the work of following this video, making this sound yourself, you can just go grab that program and bring it onto the keyboard. If you've got any questions with anything I went over in this video, feel free to throw those down in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks for watching. Stay inspired. Keep making that music.